Hello everyone, and welcome back to another unit comparison for Wargame Red Dragon. We've moved on now to Scandinavia, our third coalition or faction, if you would, and we have another expert player with us today that's going to be Orangina, who will be with us for the entirety of our Scandinavia unit comparisons. Now, we're starting off with basic regular infantry, 10-point Dragoner versus something like the Swedish 15-point Panzerkitta. So, Orangina, you want to introduce yourself and get started on this unit comparison?
Hi, I'm Orangina. I really like Scandinavia, and I think it has a really strong infantry tab going for it. Starting with the line infantry, I think the biggest thing is you want to look at how economical your DPS is. So with the Dragoneer, you can see they have the MG3 that's pretty much considered to be the second best Blue 4 MG, only second to the Minimi by a bit. Whereas the Panzerkeets are a bit more expensive, only with trading off better AP. And as something with line infantry that's just going to be a lot of fodder, it's not something that might be considered in 1v1s. It's much more of a team game pick.
So I do want to ask you a question just briefly about the armor piercing on these. The Carl Gustav M2 does have way better accuracy, 18 AP power, but suffers a bit for rate of fire. Does that sort of change the role that you can use these in, or does it end up not really being too much of an important detail?
I think on the base ones, it's not an important detail. If you're playing something like team games or are just experimenting, I think the Panzerkeeta 90s are definitely an option, especially in a heavy IFE like the STRF 9040. The 20 RPM on the AT4 is something which can do really well in forests, but at that point it's not really line infantry because it's just not cheap enough.
Gotcha, that is a 40-point card, which is, I mean, if we compare that to the initial Dragoner in probably the M113G, that's 15 points right there for some decent infantry to infantry sort of line, I guess. Just as a last question, I do want to ask you about the Gewehrman, because these appear, at least at first glance to me, to be a bit of a stat clone, and you have more options like the NM135. Is this something you'd ever consider using?
I love this thing in Mechanized. This is a really good card, 20 points for excellent autocannon. And the stat clone is true, but in something like Unspec in a 1v1, you'll notice that their 5-pointer has 1 less armor. It's not something that huge, but it is something which can make a difference and makes Dragoneers a lot more preferable.
Gotcha.
Also, if you look at the availability, you take a bit of a hit with Gaverman compared to Dragoneer.
Really? That seems to be... I don't know if it's just this is a general deck, but we're looking at 23 and 18 for both at the moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was thinking of the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
okay,
kidding.
Yeah. 18 and 14. Alright, well that's going to be our first comparison for your line infantry here for Scandinavia. I think we are going to just work our way through tab by tab, so we'll be back tomorrow with another infantry tab comparison, and then just sort of trundle our way through each of the remaining sections of the deck. So I hope you guys found that informative, and many thanks to Orangina for being here with us for Scandinavia. We'll see you guys real soon.